Good afternoon from Kolkata, Calcutta. We are rounding off a week that started on a somber note, continued through multiple tragedies, and ended perhaps with a sliver of hope. Nepal is, of course, top of the news. We don't have the exact number of Nepalese living in India. We don't have the exact number of Indians living in Nepal. India and Nepal share a 1900-kilometer border, an open border. Indians can travel to Nepal without a passport and visa. Nepalese travel to India without passports and visas. They also serve in the Indian Army. So what has unfolded in Kathmandu, in Dharan, in Jhapa, in Rolpa, in Rukum, in Hetauda is truly tragic. We have seen this week the Singha Darbar, the seat of government in Nepal, being burnt. We have seen more than 50 people killed in the rebellion that was sparked ostensibly by frustrations of the Gen Z, the Generation Z, people born between 1997 and 2012. Nepal is by no means an exclusive story. We are familiar with events that happened a year back in Bangladesh, but even in India's extended neighbourhood. I want to highlight this story in the Indian Express today. The Indian Express's journalist Siddharth Upasani has reported on a World Bank document. The headline is Nepal, Indonesia, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, when demographic dividend isn't delivered. And the highlight of the story is the World Bank warning that said, promises that do not deliver jobs, livelihoods, and employment to the young risk turning into a law and order dispute. We have seen that happening across the region. Nepal, with its multiple tragedies this week, is the latest in this story. I have a feeling this story is going to continue. However, as of yesterday, Nepal has sworn in a new government, a new interim government led by Sushila Karki, the first woman to be Nepal's Prime Minister. She was the Chief Justice of Nepal. She was impeached during her tenure for her apparent anti-corruption crusades. Nepal impacts India in many ways because we have so much in common and an open border. But on a lighter note, one of the things was a scarcity of a particular cereal, should I say, or a particular ingredient in food that has been Calcutta's favorite. Our chief editor, Dola Mitra, will tell you more about it.
Hello. So I still have 4 packets of YY noodles left. YY noodles, as you know, are from Nepal. So when trouble broke out in Nepal, I was really worried that the supplies of YY would stop, because this is a staple which I really kind of rely on as a journalist. Sometimes I come back home very late, and these are my go-to noodles. Yes, of course, there's Maggi, but these have become my, absolute favorite. So when I went, to the shops recently during the trouble, and I was really disheartened to hear that this fresh supplies of YY has stopped. And so I kind of saved these 4 packets for a rainy day. And later, of course, just a couple of days ago, again, I went back to the shops to inquire whether whether they are expecting more supplies, and some of them told me yes, soon I should be getting more. So, but until such time as there are more, I'm guarding this with my life. I'm not opening them. Okay. So.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Manipur yesterday. After 864 days, more than 2.5 years after strife broke out between ethnic Maoists and Cookies in the northeastern state. He drove from Imphal to Churachandpur through blinding rain, and that appears to be the highlight of the visit. The visit has run into controversy because large sections of Manipur's population boycotted it, but the Prime Minister still did make the visit and went to refugee camps in Churachandpur, the cookie place that is now often referred to as Lanka. Staying with the Telegraph, I have to mention that we lost the Telegraph's editor Sankarshan Thakur at the start of the week, a lively journalist, an elegant writer. He's been a colleague through decades in Delhi and Calcutta. In the Telegraph's front page, there is a story that is relevant as the Puja season joins, as we come upon the Puja season. And this is a story by Snehamoy Chakraborty, Gobindobhog price blow to Puja platter. Snehamoy reports that Gobindobhog, Bengal's strain of short grain aromatic rice, is now twice as costly as it was 6 months ago, from around 95 to 100 rupees per kilo in March. The retail price of a kilo of the GI tagged and widely exported Gobindobhog has jumped to between 195 and 200 rupees a kilo. This might affect the pulao you will have during Pujo. Today is, of course, a big day. An India-Pakistan match, an India-Pakistan T20 cricket match is scheduled for the evening, but that match has run into controversy. The match follows Operation Sindoor, the largely air war between India and Pakistan in June that followed the attacks, the killings of tourists in Pahalgam in April. It has run into controversy from within the supporters of the government, from within the supporters of the BJP that wanted the match to be boycotted. But the Board of Control for Cricket in India, led by Jai Shah, the Union Home Minister Amit Shah's son, has insisted on going ahead with it because of the tournament. The protest from within the BJP has been sparked largely by this interview that the widow of one of the victims killed in Pahalgam has said from Kanpur. She says that how can India and Pakistan play cricket over the dead body of her husband who was killed in the Baisaran Valley? This has anchored a lot of people, and the government may have a lot of answering to do. Staying on with the headlines of the day, this is something that concerns a lot of us, and I'm talking about this story in Anandabajar Putrika. It is about a student's body being discovered in one of the ponds in Jadavpur University. I must tell you, I am a former student of Jadavpur University. Anything that tars its reputation is almost like a personal affront. This is not the only incident that happened on campus this week. In RG Medical College and Hospital again, a young doctor was found dead. And this is this is a time when the protests over the rape and killing of a doctor in Archicor last year have not yet died down. It is truly concerning, but while there are questions about security and on campus, there is also a concerted effort to tar the name of Bhadrapur University that leaves us miffed, to say the least. There is always a pleasure reading the Sunday Statesman because of this column called Desktop Doodles by Cuckoo News chief editor and editor features of the Statesman. She has this regular column on Sundays, and today's column is headline of Happiness, Hibiscus and Hungry Birds. Dola starts with the question, what makes you happy? I would urge you to read the column when the Statesman puts it up on its website. But she writes about her time as a teenager in Alexandria, Virginia, in the US. That is a really nice anecdote that brings a smile to your face. I would urge you again to read it. We now have a segment on a piece of music that has run into controversy.
ছাড়াই বাছাই চলছে ভাই ভাই মোদির নাকি টেনশন প্রধানমন্ত্রী কত পায়
That is, of course, Anirban Bhattacharya, the Bengali star, who has come up with this new offering just before Pujo from his music group called Hooliganism. And it is a funky take on what are actually newspaper headlines: the special intensive revision of electoral rolls, the touchiness of politicians cutting across party lines from the Trinamool Congress to the BJP to the CPIM. And it has already run into some controversy because one politician from the BJP, also an actor in Tollywood, has said that he has insulted what he calls Sanatani culture. Anirban's defense is that no, that is not true. Neither the TMC nor the CPM, nor there is no religious connotation to this. It's a funky take on politics. I suggest you listen to the song on YouTube and make a decision yourselves.